What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and today we are going to talk about WWE and ESPN. Now, I made my sentiments on this very well known. If they think being on ESPN as opposed to any other streaming service or whatever the case may be is going to bring them any more newer viewers, they're wrong. Their fan base is what it is. The casual fan is gone. Now, not to say that you can't bring in more fans who are going to end up being smart, but the days of 3 million views on Raw Live and all this mess, they're gone. I don't think they'll ever come back unless something big happens, unless that next big thing, no pun intended, comes along. Um, what that could be, I don't know. It's clearly Triple H has hit a lull or a wall in his booking. Um, it's clear now that with the TKO thing happening and they're leaning a little bit more trying to capture the UFC audience, which is never going to happen again. There was some time in the early 2010s where there was a lot of crossover, especially when Brock first came in onto the scene with UFC. Um, However, now that is pretty much non-existent. You can't. UFC is waning. Even they don't even have any real big stars, and the real big stars that they had, a Conor McGregor who just got in trouble in Ireland, and a John Jones who just okay. They don't even have like a really next big thing right now. Um. Anyway, late last night, because I'm recording this at 2 a.m. for some stupid reason. Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, kind of touched on. Well, let's walk this back a little bit. John Pollock of WokeWrestling.com or PostWrestling.com several weeks ago. I'll just read you this. This is from Mike Johnson at PW Insider. Several weeks ago, reports began to circulate that WWE was seeking to add a new pay-per-view / PLE on September the 20th. The first to report the discussions was John Pollock's Pro Wrestling or Post Wrestling website. And I know that there was rumors of them adding a pay-per-view in December, possibly going head-to-head with AEW's World's End pay-per-view or All Out, whatever they're calling. I don't know. I haven't watched AEW in months. Um, the MJF stuff is just. I like MJF. MJF is the reason why I watched AEW back in the day. Him and CM Punk. Um, MJF, they've totally screwed the pooch on him. And if he has any kind of creative control over his character, he's kind of screwed the pooch on himself. One minute, he's begging to join the Hurt Business. And then the next minute, he's with the Hurt Business. But he doesn't do anything while he's with the Hurt Business. Now he's out of the Hurt Business and is going after the world title. It is just, oh, man. Enough. Just enough, please. MJF is a main event talent. He deserves to be in the main event, not fucking around with Bobby Lashley and MVP and all these guys. Now, when he wins the world title, if he wins the world title, his first opponent should probably be Bobby Lashley. But that should not, I don't want to see Bobby Lashley with the world title. That's not money. It's not drawing power. MJF is. Anyway, getting off track here. So it says at the time when asking WWE sources, we were told that the date was not locked in stone, but that the company was working on the logistics of the event, which means they need to figure out, here it is August. It is August 18th. You're 30 days away from that date, and you're going to throw up a PLE and expect to sell that many tickets in a month? The logistics of that, they said they've been working on this several weeks ago. But they have not announced this pay-per-view yet. Um, they got Clash in Paris coming up. Clash in Paris, Clash at the Eiffel Tower, whatever they're calling it. But anyway, we are now told that the show will 100% be happening as part of the company's relationship with the city of Indianapolis. So this is going to be held in Indy. The belief among those we've spoken to in the company is that the event and its broadcast plans will officially be unveiled this week. Now he posted this at 7:30 p.m. on the 17th, so yesterday. So now, flash forward a few hours later. Actually, it was only about an hour and a half later. Not 2 hours. 9:30 says, "Is WWE about to debut on ESPN?" It says, "Could a WWE PLE be arriving on ESPN before 2026?" There has been discussion within the broadcast industry over the last few days that the planned added WWE event for this September, scheduled for 9/20 in Indianapolis, could end up being an extra unique event that would air on ESPN as a preview of the type of programming WWE will bring to the new partnership when it officially kicks off in 2026. It's April of 2026. So WrestleMania next year, pretty much. While WWE PLEs are currently licensed domestically to Peacock, it's interesting to note while there is no current September PLE on the schedule, Peacock will have two PLEs in the month of August. SummerSlam, which was earlier this month, and then the August 31st Clash in Paris. They will then have an October PLE date. Internationally, WWE PLEs are on Netflix. WWE has plans to unveil the new PLE and where it will broadcast sometime this week, we are told. ESPN declined to comment. They've also reached out for WWE, and they'll update when they hear back from WWE. Now, here's my thoughts on this, the whole thing. Again, I don't like the ESPN deal if it's going to cost me $30 a month. I have Xfinity as my cable provider. If they could clear something with Xfinity to where it is part of that broadcast package where I could download the ESPN app and log in with the cable provider, fine, cool. I'm all for it. But I don't think I can shill out $30 a month for this. For something I'm only going to watch once a month. I don't care about sports. I'm not a big sports guy. I could care less about football. I'll watch my hockey during the playoffs. I'll watch the baseball playoffs. I'll catch a game every now and then. But I'm not religiously in front of my damn tube watching Sports Center every single night because they get paid $1 million whether they win or lose. I guess that's why I like wrestling so much, just because it's scripted. You know who's going to win. You know who's going to lose ahead of time. They get paid their contracts regardless of who wins or loses, but they're not out there. You know the fanaticism, I guess you could call it, the 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 downright stupidity that people have for these football teams out there is just mind-boggling to me. Anyway, um, and I'm sorry, once you start charging people to pay and see you and start charging merchandise, you're no longer really a sport. You're a form of entertainment. Anyway, I'm not going to pay $30 for ESPN. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's taking a huge step back as far as the industry goes. And WWE and Vince McMahon and all them did it to themselves because when that network first launched, what was it, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there? 9.99. When they jumped and moved everything over to Peacock, 9.99 is what I mean. Well, actually, I get Peacock for free. When they move over to Netflix, I was paying the $9.99 or whatever it is, $12.99 a month for Netflix. Anyways, I do watch movies on Netflix on occasion. I was just rolling down the road today listening to a show about the Long Island serial killer. And Now you want me to it's taking a huge step backwards. I can remember when the pay-per-views were, they used to charge, what was it? $20 for the in your house pay-per-views, and then it was $30 a month for the big pay-per-views, and then they switched to $30 for everything, all 12 of them. Then it became $40. $39.95 was the standard for a while. You'd pay $50 for WrestleMania. Then HD comes along and it's, we're going to charge $50 for them all if you want it in HD, but if you want it in standard definition, it's $30. Then it got moved to, I think, WrestleMania. Wasn't WrestleMania $80 one year, if I'm not mistaken? So this is a huge step backwards. Huge. And if they think it's going to bring in subscribers to this new service, especially now that they've lost the UFC, UFC's taking a step forward. They're getting away from the pay-per-view model. They're getting away from the huge price tags. You used to have to spend upwards of $80 to $100 a month to watch this shit, watch UFC. Now, you pay the Paramount $12.99 a month. You get it all. WWE, however, is wanting to, go with a company that has a high price point. And it's going to kill them. It's going to absolutely kill them. The piracy sites, the high seas, they're going to have a field day with this. These PLEs, if this $30 stuff goes through, it's going to be Pirate City out there. So, I mean, and adding another PLE and saying, watch them, they're not going to brand it as a PLE. That's how they're going to get around this. This is going to be a special live event, is what they'll call it, so that they can legally skirt around the contract with Peacock. Now, I'm not defending Peacock by any means. Their service is shite. Okay? That Peacock website and that app is so hard to navigate. Like, to find WWE, sometimes you got to go all the way over to where it says more options and then find WWE in there. Sometimes when there's a PLE going on and you log into the app, they'll have like SummerSlam live now. Then on other pay-per-views, if there's something else going on that day, like a football game or something, you got to go into the WWE section, then go into the live section to find it. I hope ESPN does a better job. You'd think they would, seeing as how they're paying WWE all this money. So they're going to add another. They're not going to call this a PLE. They'll bill it as like a Saturday night's main event. When is 9/20? Let me find. Maybe that I should find that out first. Oy vey. August the 20th. It's a Saturday. They're going to call it's going to be a Saturday night's main event. It's not going to be a PLE. They'll dub it as a Saturday night's main event. But I think Saturday night's main event is exclusive to NBC, so maybe they would have to call it Saturday Night Slam or something like that. They can't technically, legally, contract-wise, brand it as a PLE, and they really can't market it as a Saturday night's main event. So I don't know what they're going to call this, but they can't call it either one of those two because NBC Universal could sue their asses, and they'll win. Or force them to change the name. Sorry, it's 2 a.m. My brain is not exactly firing on all cylinders. Forgot about the NBC deal. Anyway, I think that, in all honesty, this is crazy. The whole ESPN thing is crazy. Why couldn't they just migrate everything over to Netflix once this ends? Why are we doing ESPN? ESPN is not a big deal anymore. It used to be back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s. You were good when you got on ESPN. You were something when you got on ESPN. When ESPN, the only time ESPN ever really used to mention WWE, they had a little bit of a working relationship with them back in the day when Jonathan Coachman would come on and bring on Vince McMahon or somebody like that and interview them. But wrestling, for the most part, on ESPN throughout the late 90s and early, even the 2000s and 2010s, wrestling was a joke. Wrestling was an absolute joke to ESPN. Every now and then when they needed time to fill, oh, let's bring on the wrestling. Oh, look and see what the wrestlers are doing. It was a joke. It still is a joke to them. I can remember when they had the Fox deal for SmackDown. Colin Cowherd was sitting there calling pro wrestling fans booger eating rednecks. And then all of a sudden, here's Jim Ross on his show to promote the book. And oh, now we got wrestler this and wrestler that on the show. Well, when you're in bed with the guys, you kind of have to play nice. But for the most part, wrestling to these major quote unquote sports networks it's a joke. It's still redneck entertainment to them. Always has been, always will be. Again, let's see what the wrestlers are doing. So I don't know. I don't know about this ESPN thing. I don't know about adding another PLE. To play it up in a month, you have to put tickets on sale now. I mean, I get the whole they think they're hot shit, and if you build it, they will come. But they're kind of overstepping their bounds when it's less than 30 days notice. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. We will see you down the road.